Ho, ho, hello, everybody, and welcome to the TripleJump podcast. It's a video game podcast. My name is
Father Christmas.
Father Christmas. My name is Father Christmas.
And my name is Peter. Bang!
Bang! That's what he hasn't got a gun for people listening at home. I should move this up so people can hear me a bit more clearly.
Yeah.
I am dressed as Father Christmas today. I have a real beard on over my fake beard.
Look at him. He's great.
There he is, and Peter's wearing a Christmas jumper that says "bang" on it.
It's got a cracker on
like
it.
A Christmas cracker.
Which I think is only culturally relevant to people in perhaps only in the UK. I don't think they have crackers anywhere else. So
complete mystery.
Yeah.
Wasn't there that clip that was going around of from a TV show where there was an American who was like pulling it himself? He was like, "These are amazing. You have to do. Oh no, you have to reach inside and pull the explosive bit out, and that's it."
Yeah, that rings a bell.
Completely misappropriating
Yeah.
misunderstanding how crackers work. Ashton is not here. She has Christmas plops, unfortunately. So no Ashton this week, but Ashton will be on the bonus podcast that goes out next week while we're all off. So she will return then. Peter,
Yeah.
are you prepared for Christmas?
I am. I'm just keeping an eye on your beard, making sure it's not rubbing
It's not
against
rubbing
your
on the
microphone.
microphone. Yeah, I think I'll take it off now. This one. There we go. The beard has come off.
I'm excited for Christmas. Yeah, I really like Christmas. Always been a fan of it. I like hanging out with the family, eating lots of food, giving and receiving presents.
Playing reindeer games.
And putting coinage in places it shouldn't go.
Absolutely.
Are you excited for Christmas?
Yes, I am. I like Christmas. I enjoy Christmas too. Some people really, really don't like it. Some people don't celebrate it, which is fine.
Yeah.
But some people hate it.
They do.
They cannot stand it. But I enjoy it because it's a period of complete overindulgence. And also, it makes me feel happy in my tum-tum to give presents to loved ones.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, me too.
I enjoy it.
I very much, we both count ourselves very lucky to be in a position where we can enjoy Christmas, of
Absolutely.
course. But if we can enjoy it, then we should. And we should be happy that we can enjoy it, which we do.
Be nice to people, everybody.
Yeah.
That's the moral of that's the Father Christmas moral of the story. Maybe.
Thank you,
I don't really know where I'm going with this. Each and every week we're sponsored by a very real video game adjacent sponsor on this here podcast. I have the ad read in front of me now. I think it's one of my best.
Oh,
ones. One of our best ones. One of our best sponsors.
One of the best things to have been sent to us genuinely by a sponsor.
By a real sponsor. This week, we are sponsored by the new Final Fantasy spin-off game, Father Chris is Core.
Father Crisis
Father Chris is
Core, yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's excellent, yeah?
Yes.
Can you tell us about it?
Nope.
No,
you know Father Christmas's wife, Mrs. Core.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry. It's not real.
Oh.
Sorry, I couldn't. I was really struggling. There's nothing out.
No.
There's nothing out. And Father Chris's Core, it's not a real sponsor. Obviously, Crisis Core is real, and so is Father Christmas because he is real. Yeah. He's right here in the room. But we're sponsored by wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/Team TripleJump, where for as little as $1 per month, you can submit questions to this podcast. And we really, really appreciate it. There's loads of other tiers available, loads of other rewards that you can get for supporting us there. So thank you very much to all of our patrons who have supported us this year. We appreciate you. Peter.
Yep.
You got a question?
I've got a question. It's from Mr. Uncle Butters. I would have to go for the lacto-free version, but that's fine.
Mr. Uncle Margarine.
Greetings, salutations, and merry tidings to you lovely boys and or girls and or others. It's that time of year when every video game news or journalism outlet and their dogs are giving out Game of the Year awards, and I floppin' hate it. Pause for effect after that not-so-dramatic plot twist, it says. To briefly elaborate, film has the Oscars and the Golden Globes, stage has the Tonys, football has the Ballon d'Or. The door balloon, that means.
Is how that translates.
But gaming seemingly lacks a legitimate big prize, accepting the recent rise of the Game Awards, but I hesitate to give Jeffrey too much praise given the amount of cringe that comes with them. Given this void, publishers seem to take an award from any outlet of seemingly any size and shamelessly slap a Game of the Year sticker on their game to try and bump sales in the festive period. The most egregious example of this I can recall was Jedi Fallen Order, an aggressively average game by most accounts, mine included, which was, after all was said and done, a bit of a missed opportunity. It's getting very warm under that.
Do you want me
heater,
to? Yeah, I'm
more concerned about you because you're in a big fluffy.
I'm highly flammable.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Also, Dead Island 2: The Spider is at home with Ashton.
Absolutely
she's
fine.
Looking after him.
Yeah. An aggressively average game by most accounts, which was, after all was said and done, a bit of a missed opportunity. But someone somewhere said it was their game of the year. And so 12 months later, in Holidays 2020, they sold a Game of the Year edition on the PlayStation Store and probably elsewhere.
Yeah.
Do you lovely lot, give a good gosh darn if a game has a Game of the Year sticker on it? Are you more likely to buy or play a game with a Game of the Year award to its name? And are there any Game of the Year stickers or awards from outlets that you put any stock into? Thanks for continuing to entertain us, the masses, and Merry Kiss Kiss. Merry Kiss Kiss.
Merry Kiss Kiss to you too.
Thank you, Mr. Uncle Butters. Personally, a Game of the Year sticker or award, no matter who it was from, would not necessarily make me any more or less likely to buy a game. Because I think by the time a game has been given a Game of the Year award, it will already be mainstream and popular enough that I will already know all about it. So if I'm gonna want to play it or buy it, I will already want to do that before it's been given an award, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
If for example, God of War, if anyone who wants to play God of War, Ragnarok I'm talking about in this example, already knows what it is, they probably already want to play it. They weren't waiting around for the Game Awards to think, I wonder if it'll, it's one Game of the Year, maybe I should give that a go. I mean, maybe there might be a few people who thought it's not for me, and then after just constant praise, then they might be more likely to play it. But that's more of a clear-cut Game of the Year in a lot of cases. I don't think it's going to struggle to win many Game of the Year awards from various outlets. But certainly one where, maybe something like Jedi Fallen Order, if like one outlet says, it's our Game of the Year, it's not going to affect my likelihood of buying it. Are there any that I put more stock into? I mean, again, the fact that I don't put a lot of stock into a Game of the Year award at all, and that doesn't mean anything to me, means that it doesn't matter so much to me who is or isn't giving it. But if I really wanted to, if someone said you can only play games of the year for the rest of your life, and you have to choose an outlet who's going to provide them to you, then I'd probably pick someone like IGN, I guess, just one of the bigger outlets that probably has a reasonably good handle on what should qualify as a Game of the Year. It doesn't mean a great deal to me. The only thing that I do like about Game of the Year editions of games, particularly if they come out, say, a year after the release, is that we talked about it on a recent podcast. When you get DLC bundles on either on disc or on as downloadable content, maybe if I have sat on the game for a while, the award isn't going to make me more likely to buy it, but maybe I've just been like, I'll get around to that at some point. Then it happens to win a Game of the Year award, and I'm like, I'll give it a go. And sometimes when they release a Game of the Year edition, they say, and it's got everything with it all in one. And sometimes it's better value to go for those. So there can be a benefit there, but you don't have to win a Game of the Year award to bring out sometimes they just do that and call it the definitive edition or whatever. So yeah, the award is relatively meaningless in my life, but awards should still exist to give people the recognition that they deserve. Yeah,
absolutely. I think ultimately you've hit the nail on the head.
Just hogged all of the points there.
Well,
really.
I completely agree. Ultimately, these Game of the Year editions or Ultimate editions or Complete editions generally contain all of the content that's been released for a game.
Yeah,
it's not very often that a game is released in exactly the same condition that it was at launch, but just with Game of the Year on it. Sometimes it does happen, but not very often. Game of the Year editions, Ultimate editions, Complete editions, they usually are an opportunity for people to pick up a copy of the game, usually a year after the fact, with all of the content included for slightly less than the price it was at launch. So it's usually a pretty good bargain. And then when it ultimately goes on sale on digital storefronts, it's then ridiculous. You can get The Witcher, up until recently, I think they put the price back up because of the next gen upgrade that's been made available. But it was like $7.99, and you could get The Witcher 3 and both of its big expansions. So that's really what those are for. But I totally see where Mr. Uncle Butters is coming from, in that some of the games that have Game of the Year are a bit tenuous. I think most recently, Cyberpunk 2077 was the subject of ridicule because it will be getting a Game of the Year edition, I assume, next year. I believe it's going to bundle in the expansion that's coming soon with Idris Elba in it. And that's because it won IGN Japan's Game of the Year for some reason. I don't think anyone can doubt that the game is massively improved and hugely popular, but come on now. Game of the year.
It's not
in the year it released. I do not agree with that. So yeah, there's some tenuous stuff there for sure, but it's usually, as far as I'm concerned, just sort of the sign of a big publisher and strong marketing. I don't think it's necessarily always indicative of quality. But you're right. Anything that has Game of the Year on the cover is not going to. I don't want to sound like big boy on campus, right? But I know what games are good and what games are bad. Like having Game of the Year on it is not going to tempt me either way. Like I know what it is. Probably if it's big enough to have won Game of the Year from somewhere, we, including the audience watching this, as informed gamers, will know what it is and know whether we're into it or not. There may be some people who see it on the shelf, as you say, and pick it up and be like, oh, okay, Game of the Year, that's cool. But if I was also placed in that hypothetical situation where I had to only play Game of the Year award winners, I mean, the Game Awards, Game of the Year awards don't really mean all that much as far as I'm concerned. Maybe somewhere prestigious like BAFTA. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it ultimately matters. No. As long as you're getting all the stuff bundled in there in the Game of the Year edition, that's what it is. Well, I've got a good example, though, of how ridiculous these things can be beyond the Cyberpunk one. Right. I remember once I was in a dentist's waiting room and they had an official Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book magazine kind of thing. Excellent. And on the back, it had a big advert for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. And it said 5 stars, best game I've ever played. And then it was a review from that magazine, the official. Oh, from that magazine. Not only from that magazine, but also it was the official Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles magazine saying, this Ninja Turtles game, brilliant. Best thing ever. It's the greatest game of all time. They're like, put that on the poster, put that in the marketing material, and then put it back on the magazine. Because that's how you know that review has integrity and it matters. Yeah. So, people play this game all the time. It's about using your common sense if you don't necessarily agree. But if it's got additional stuff in there and you can save some money, there's an opportunity for you to get the Game of the Year edition or whatever they call it. It's time to play a section that Ashton will be gutted she's missing, Peter. Play a section. Yeah. What? It's time to talk about a section, which is what we're doing now, and then we'll do the section. Right. What's it? What is it? It's about what we talking about. Playing. What we playing. Oh, right. Okay. It's what we play in time to talk about the games, what we have been playing. Now, we are recording this on Tuesday this week due to the nature of various members of the team being off at various times, so we thought we'd get this done nice and early. So I imagine that we may have had the opportunity to play some sort of party games, etc., seeing as this is now Christmas Eve when this episode releases. Right, yeah. And when you're listening to this, it may be even later than that. So, Peter, what have you been playing? And also, it has literally only been a few days since we recorded the last podcast. Yeah. So there's not been a great opportunity to really play much. But what have you played? Well, I imagine by the time it's Christmas Eve, I will have played a little bit of, I'll have done some party games. I'll be spending Christmas Eve with my wife's family, and she has 2 younger siblings. Ooh. And we always play, well, historically, we've always played a bit of Nintendo Wii. We play, what's the party games, like the sort of packing. Mario Party? No, not Mario. Just like there's like Globe Trot. Wii Sports. Wii. I don't even know what they're called, but I just go around. We play like Wii Party or something. Okay, I think that's one. Yeah. Wii Party sounds like one. I think that's it. Yeah. But now he's got a PS5, so we might be playing something else. I don't know. Played Monopoly on the Christmas day when he opened his PS5 Absolutely. Last year. I'm talking game Monopoly now, digital Monopoly. That's who's got time for a regular one? But no, that's all hypothetical. I don't know what exactly I will have played, but I have actually played something since we last recorded, which is I'm doing a bit of prep work. I don't need to do any prep work, but I'm reliving Resident Evil 4 because the remake's coming out next year, and I think it's early next year, isn't it? Is it like first, February? Like second or third month of something like that? Yeah. So I've played that game many times over, but we were talking about it. I mentioned it recently. I talked about, we were doing Christmas. What memorable video gaming Christmas presents have you had? And that was one I talked about. And then just talking about it made me think, oh man, I've not played that game in a little while. And then I was hooking up a PS2 to my new
like office room in the new house because I want to start like being able to capture on the computer. And it was right there next to me, and I was like, oh, there it is, Resi Force coming out next year. It's a good reason to play it if I ever need a reason. I mean, I don't ever need a reason, but so I've given that a restart, and I'm enjoying it very much.
Nice. Excellent. How far through are you?
I've just got to. There's a bit where you're kind of holed up in a cabin with your friend Lewis, and you basically have to just survive while hordes and hordes of monsters come at you.
That sounds spooky, man.
Yeah, and the cutscene shows this bit where you're about to cross this bridge, and on the other side of the bridge, there's just like about 50 of these villagers. But because there's so many of them, if you stop and look at them for more than a moment, they're really like low poly. It's just a cutscene, but I guess they just thought in order to render this, we're going to have some pretty low quality models in there. So they just show them very fleetingly, and they've all got like slightly wonky faces. But
are you ready for them all to become handsome Squidwards?
They will be, very handsome Squidwards. I can't wait to see. I've been going through and like seeing. Like looking at moments in the game and thinking, I wonder what subversions are going to be done here, subversions of expectations, because we already know about the dog I won't say if you don't know, but we already know something about the dog/wolf that you free from a bear trap at the very start of the original game. So if you've been keeping up to date with the material they've already shown for the remake, there's like, oh, that's something they've changed. So there'll be a lot of that, I'm sure. This game's the remake's going to be a lot spookier, I imagine, than the more action focused. It's pretty spooky to begin with in the original, but yeah, I think it's going to get a lot scarier. So
I'm excited to play it finally, and also be a bit scared. Should be fun.
We'll stream it in some way, shape, or form.
Yes, it will be covered.
Whether I do it solo or we do it as a joint stream, because we do like we like our horror games on the joint stream.
We do.
We'll work out what we're doing.
We've got a queue. We need to finish off Dark Pictures. Then there's the Callisto Protocol.
There is, and then there's Dead Space as well. So
Flipping
maybe I'll do it.
Dead Space too.
I might do it solo.
Yeah,
but,
may not have time. Amazing.
Exciting.
Is that what you played?
That's all I played, yeah.
Wonderful. So we party on the PS5. This probably by now, by the time of the release.
Well, no, probably not the Wii only. That's what we used to play, but now he's got a PS5, so...
Just hook it right in. It's got USB ports, right? Just USB it in.
Yeah.
Technology. I've played a few things. I have played some more Sackboy, Sackboy's a big adventure. Sackboy's a big adventure? Sackboy,
A Big Adventure.
Okay, Sackboy, A Big Adventure. I've played a little bit of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. I just find that
ever 5 stars.
Best games ever 5 stars. Official Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles magazine. I find that to be a great local co-op game because you can have 4 people hop in. I really enjoyed that actually. That was a really, really fun game that released this year. I've played a little bit of Borderlands 2 because it's never far. Borderlands 2 is never far, and it's so easy to just pick up and play. I know it like the back of my hand. And the main thing I've been playing this week is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. I think that's the full name, which we talked about in Review Corner last week, but I am continuing to enjoy. I've been absolutely crushing the side missions, which you can access at any time. And some of them take me like less than a minute to do, but I just sort of tick away at them every time I get, because you access them from save points. So I'll be in the middle of like an actual regular chapter of the game, and then there'll be a save point, and I'll think, oh, maybe I'll do some side missions. And then I'll spend like an hour there doing side missions, and then I'll turn it off and go to bed. And all the AI are around me thinking, come on, we're gonna save the day. Like, no, I've just got to nip off to the other side of the planet quickly to do this soldier mission. You wouldn't understand. But yeah, that game continues to impress me. I still think it's a bit hokey in places, especially the voice acting, which I understand is all new, but it does have that. It's so painfully Japanese in places where the camera angle will cut to above and the character leans back and puts their arms out and goes, "Why couldn't it have been me?" Right. But the delivery's kind of flat, so it doesn't really match the animation. There's a few instances of that. That's, I suppose,
It's what you play JRPGs for, though.
Well, that's true, but I feel like that's what the original had going for it, was that there was no voice acting, so there was none of that. And I think the proper, Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 avoided that really well, or at least the voice performances were really good, and where there were instances of those, they adapted very well. So that sticks out quite a lot, but obviously that's a hangover from it being a remaster. And I will finish this game. It's what I'm playing at the moment. That's the game that I'm focusing on at the moment. So, and that's what I've been playing.
Lovely.
It's time for question 2.
Yep.
This one comes from Brooks Existentialist, who says, Happy Honda Days, Bap. Was there ever a video game deal you scored that you still get excited when reflecting on it? I am still riding the high of scoring a new PS4 with an extra controller and Red Dead Redemption 2 for $200 back in 2018.
Wow.
Cheers.
That's a good deal.
That's a very good deal. You got any bargains?
I've got... I don't really tend to remember specifically really good deals that I've got. I know I have done in the past, but they don't really stick with me. The one that I do remember, because it sort of often, I kind of come back to it often, although I don't remember the figures, is that I got a really good discount. I think I got 70% off on Steam on this massive Star Wars collection that they had.
Oh, wow.
So basically, I don't know if it's every Star Wars game on Steam, but it's certainly most of them. Most of them are like retro, like kind of stuff like Rogue Squadron and like Episode 1 Racer and stuff. And they're all bundled in together. I got just a huge discount on it. There was a big sale on. And the reason that I often ride the high of that again is because when I'm going through my Steam library, which isn't that often that I actually play games on PC, but when I do, I'm scrolling through, and when I get to S, there's just this like list of about 15 Star Wars games. And I'm like,
Excellent.
wow, I paid hardly anything for those, and I've still not played a lot of them, but it doesn't matter because I hardly paid for them, and they're always there when I want to come around and give them a go. So that's one that it doesn't necessarily make me excited to think about, and I don't even remember exactly how much I paid, but it's something that I see those games on my list, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was good. Look at that. They're still there. All those games that I paid almost nothing for. Bargain, yeah. What about you?
I've got a couple. They're mainly from when I was an impoverished student, and buying games was a challenge. I remember jumping through loads of hoops to purchase Mass Effect 2 or pre-order it on PS3 through EA's official store.
Right.
And at that point, if you were in the UK and you were buying games, there were loads of retailers. Granger Games, like Boomerang Games, Gaming 365 or something like that. There was just a dozen sort of smaller outlets, and usually they'd have pretty good deals. But I think I had some kind of discount code, or I could get one if I bought directly from EA. I'd never done that before, directly from a publisher. And I think I managed to get like £15 off, which is huge. That was a real difference maker. So I think I ended up getting it for like £25-30 at launch, which I was absolutely chuffed with.
That's pretty good.
Another one that I remember clearly is that Red Dead Redemption 1 was releasing on PS3, and I cycled into town from my parents' house with my friend. We'd pre-ordered it online from Argos. Remember Argos? Yeah. Remember when they used to be in their own shop and not just in Sainsbury's?
Yeah, I do.
Is it Sainsbury's they're in?
Yeah.
I think they're in Sainsbury's,
now.
We cycled there, showed the collection receipt, and they were really confused. And then they came out with a really shiny special version of the game, not the proper one. Like it was a cardboard sleeve, and it like folded out. It had some sort of digital codes in it, and not a lenticular sleeve, but it was like really sparkly.
Right.
I remember that like red and sparkly, and we got that for the same price as the original, because the people who worked there did not know what Red Dead Redemption was. So they just gave us a copy of it, and it turns out that it was a much higher quality copy than the one that we'd actually paid for. So,
amazing.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting. But there we are. It's time to move on again. We're rattling through these questions
We are.
today.
That's what happens when Ashton's not here.
I know. It's all Ashton's fault.
I tell you what, though, it feels a bit weird not having Ashton here.
Yeah, just
like
it does feel a little bizarre.
But that's why they call it Weird News.
They do call it that. It's weird news time for some weird video game news. If you'd like to submit some weird game news to us in a regular week, you just have to keep an eye out for the weird news post on Twitter and Facebook and pop your weird news in a reply there. However, we are preempting the weird news post this week because we're recording so early because of Crimble. And so we've had to find our own weird news. If you'd like to guarantee yourself a shout out, though, at this point in the podcast, you have to do that. What? You have to become a podcast producer by going to patreon.com/Team TripleJump and supporting us at a certain tier, just like
Nathan,
GY Goliath,
Nexus Polaris,
Walco,
Ellie Nicholas,
Erica Hutchinson,
Melody Elbonette,
Katie Garrett,
and Gabrielle Philipping.
Thank you, podcast producers. Thank you so much. What weird news did you manage to unearth?
I've got one here. What I like about this is that Fraser turns our weird news into nice little handy graphics that they get posted on our Twitter, doesn't he?
He does do that, yes.
And this one, might cause issues. Pornhub's 2022 searches dominated by Minecraft, Overwatch, and Fortnite.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
This is almost an annual tradition at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You horny perverts.
I don't remember Minecraft being in there before, though.
No.
They're just cube people.
I love a good right angle.
Yes, indeed. The porn site's most searched video games include Cuphead, Among Us,
Okay.
Cuphead, Among Us, and ... Minecraft.
Brilliant.
This is written by CC Yang. This is according to Kotaku. And here we go. I'm no stranger to the intricacies of video game porn. That's a hell of an opening.
Great. Okay, good for you.
I see it all the time when I'm running gaming searches on social media.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, to be fair. I'd see it in hashtags all the time that I don't, I follow Spyro as a topic on Twitter.
Oh dear.
And when you go on the explore page, it just shows you all the latest Spyro posts.
Brilliant. Yeah, there's going to be some in there, I would imagine.
Yeah. Yet Pornhub's year in review list revealing the most searched games on the platform in 2022 has got me reconsidering everything that I know about gaming porn. Overwatch, I expect and understand. But Minecraft? Who's trying to get off to Among Us? Cuphead? Apparently, the answer is a lot of you. And then we have the list.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ, there's just ads popping up everywhere. Here are the entries in order. I'll go from the bottom to the top. Starting at number 22. Don't. Number 22.
No, I'm not.
Mass Effect, Street Fighter, Cuphead, Call of Duty, Final Fantasy, Splatoon, Among Us, Skyrim at number 15. Still popular.
Wow, okay.
Mortal Kombat, Roblox.
No.
Oh, God.
No.
That's troubling. Grand Theft Auto 5, Apex Legends.
Okay.
Resident Evil.
Right.
Lady D, presumably.
Yeah.
Or, anyone, I guess. It doesn't have to be Lady D.
Hunk.
Yeah, Hunk. So this is top 10. Resident Evil, Valorant. League of Legends, Summertime Saga, Cyberpunk. Number 5, Pokemon.
Oh.
Number 4, Minecraft. Number 3, Genshin Impact. Number 2, Overwatch. And number 1, Fortnite.
Wow.
First off, I think it's very funny that this list of top gaming porn searches only include one actual adult game, Summertime Saga. The rest of the rankings give me pause. I'm choosing to believe in human decency and assume that Pokemon fans are trying to get... Oh, it's just done a thing. It's just flicked way down. Trying to get off to gym leaders and the Elite Four rather than Gardevoir and Lucario. It's much harder for me to rationalize Splatoon searches. But then I remember that incident in which a few streamers were banned for streaming porn over a Splatoon 3 match. So maybe the Splatoon porn doesn't have to involve the actual characters. Just let me pretend that's the case. In addition to the above games, Pornhub also shared a list of the most searched game characters on its platform. We've previously reported about Diva rising to the... Who's that? Oh, from
DVA?
Overwatch. D.VA.
I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
Rising to the top of porn searches upon Overwatch 2's release. But the second most popular character search is Jenny Mod, a Minecraft mod that allows players to have an in-game girlfriend who will have sex with their character.
Oh, no.
Widowmaker comes in third.
Oh, no.
And then Resident Evil's Lady Dimitrescu.
Oh. The Minecraft revelation is just...
It's troubling, isn't it?
I can't believe that. An in-game girlfriend that lets you have sex with.
Yeah. But of course, there's a vast difference between what users will search on a porn site versus what people might actually be willing to make. So you might be getting no results, even though you're searching for it.
True.
Especially when animating sex scenes. Presumably takes a lot more time than shooting one with real actors. Cuphead only has 1 page of porn results, while Mass Effect has 17 pages despite its lower ranking. There's a real underserved. There's a real underserved market for Cuphead porn, and I hope that NSFW artists rise to the challenge.
Brilliant.
Last little bit. Pornhub's year-ending list is enlightening. I thought that more story-heavy games would dominate the list, but no, it seems some gamers will seek porn for almost everything and anything, even if the characters are liable to land them in jail.
Oh, excellent.
Nice way to finish.
Very good way to end the article. I'm surprised Call of Duty's not higher, given everyone thirsting over Ghost.
Yeah, you're right.
It's all on TikTok, I suppose. They get everything they need from there.
Yeah.
Not Pornhub.
And I guess some of it is to do with, how early or late games came out within the year. Although, trying to think what was in the top. Pokemon is, kind of an eternal thing. It doesn't matter that there was a Pokemon game this year. What else? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Cyberpunk was kind of mid-year. So depends maybe next year will be Ghost's time to shine when he's more established. Although again, Ghost as a character is, essentially just a long-standing.
Yeah, it's been since 2007 we've had Ghost.
So yeah, I don't know.
Blimey. Well, that was weird, and I'm glad you brought that one because I checked a few sites and I couldn't. I was coming up empty-handed, so I just found something that I thought was interesting.
Okay,
this is from PC Gamer and Ted Litchfield. After 3 years of work, modders have remastered the first Star Wars FPS. It says really vaguely, it's Dark Forces. It's talking about Dark Forces. Which we both enjoyed. I think Dark Forces.
Yeah.
Right? We like the Dark Forces. Star Wars Dark Forces, the first Star Wars FPS and predecessor to the Jedi Knight series, has finally gotten the Z-Doom treatment. Developers Lucius DXL, Winterheart, and Gilmore M560 have released the 1.0 build of the Force engine, an open-source reverse engineering of Dark Forces and soon its lesser-known cousin, Outlaws, that lets you play with modern conveniences and at high resolution. Released in 1995, Dark Forces is firmly of the Doom clone era of first-person shooters. It has that slippery, speedy, boomer shooter movement. I assume it doesn't mean boomer in that sense.
Killing gammons, yeah.
Surely not. A great weapon selection and sprawling maze-like levels, but it really innovates in its presentation. Dark Forces nails the music, sound effects, and look of Star Wars while also telling a pretty in-depth story about Han Solo, alike Kyle Katarn doing battle with the Imperial Remnant. These days, Dark Forces is somewhat overshadowed by its sequels, blah, blah, blah. Basically, you can play it in 4K now.
Right.
Which is kind of astonishing.
Well, that's funny, because when I was looking for some news, I scrolled past a headline that said, Dark Forces looks great on current gen, and I thought, how can it?
What does that mean?
It's not gonna upscale particularly well, but now I know.
Now you know.
Because they've done an actual remaster.
I'm trying to play a video, but here we go. Let's see if we can get it running.
This is the game where you thought there was a monster in the pit.
This is the game where I would jump off cliffs and fire my gun wildly because the death sound sounded so much like a monster that I was trying to kill the monster before it killed me. But it was actually gravity. Gravity was the monster.
Gravity.
Does it want to play? You want to play? Every time I skip ahead, it goes back to the first second. Oh. So I suppose we'll never know.
Right.
But there we are. Isn't that weird?
It is.
So weird, man. I struggled. I couldn't find anything. I bet by the time this comes out, Jeff Keighley pisses himself on stage at BAFTA. But no, we wouldn't do that one because that would be compounding a man's shame and embarrassment. And that would be unfair, wouldn't it?
It would.
But just hypothetically, imagine I brought that one along.
Jeff Keighley pisses live on stage.
Live at BAFTA this week, the Game Awards host Jeff Keighley did a urine in his pants. He said, "Oh no,
not in front of my best friend.
Not in front of my best friend Hideo Kojima." And Kojima could only watch on as a little piddle puddle formed around his feet. And that's it. That's the full article. And that was real. That's a real article. And you can put TripleJump as the quote.
According to Takaku.com.
Yes. That's weird news. Thank you for your weird news.
Thank you.
It's time for another question.
It's from Ed Hike. We now have a pronunciation.
We do. Thank you, Ed.
I've been saying Hoik. For ages. Thank you, Ed, for giving us the pronunciation of your surname. I will forget. Greetings, BAP, and the whole team at TripleJump Towers. Back in the primordial days of video gaming, my mother brought home a surprise for the family's Atari 2600. Ooh. A copy of Pac-Man.
Oh, no.
I opened the box, put the game in, and quickly realized that it wasn't very good. No, it was terrible. Regardless, I played the heck out of that game, gritting my teeth and telling myself that I was having fun and that this game was good. No, great. Have you bought or received games that you played even though you knew they were terrible and that there was very little fun to be had? Best of festive seasons to you all, Ed. The last name is pronounced Hike, if you are curious.
We are curious. Thank you, Ed. And also shout out to your mum for single-handedly attempting to keep the video games industry alive, because I believe it was Pac-Man, the combined might of Pac-Man and E.T. that caused the crash, or contributed to it anyway.
Is that the one? I think that's the one that couldn't show all 4 ghosts on screen at the same time. So they would phase between each 4 frames that ticked through, a different ghost would appear. So you just have these like flickering ghosts moving around. Oh God,
I'm not familiar with the specifics.
I think that's
the video game crash stuff sounds right anyway. I'm not sure. It might be a different version of Pac-Man, but I'm aware that there's a bad one out there. Woof.
You know what, Ben? Do you want to go first?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you always have to hang around all the time.
Oh, no, I don't mind.
And I did a big old answer at the beginning. I know you don't mind.
Well, you don't have to feel bad about that.
I don't feel bad. But it's Christmas.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And it is my day.
Yeah.
The big red man with all his folds and creases and strange bulges all over his body.
It's because he's meant to be a big, jolly, large man.
Yeah.
And you're not.
Christmas man.
You don't fill it out enough as Christmas man.
Brian Butterfield would say.
Maybe after Christmas, you'll be able to fit into it.
That's my goal. I still have... Honestly, I've had people come to visit and I've given them plastic bags each, like it's Halloween, and opened drawers and said, please,
full of tat candy.
Take chocolate home with you. Please take chocolate home with you. But I will eat so much that I will be sick and the size of a real Christmas man.
Me too.
Well, thank you. I will go first then. I'm going to talk to you about Rune Factory Oceans, which I have opened the Wikipedia page of, and I will tell you. Now, this series does have a following, and when you see it, you'll know why. There's the cover.
Right, I understand.
Japanese sort of pseudo-children all living in some kind of community together.
Yeah.
That's basically what it's about.
It has anime girls on the cover.
Rune Factory Tides of Destiny, known in Japan and PAL regions as Rune Factory Oceans, or Rune... It does have the Japanese pronunciation, and I'm going to try it. I'm so sorry. Rune Factory Oshanzu.
Okay.
It sounds wrong, but that's what it says.
That's often how they translate.
And it's off. I find it quite fun, actually. Yeah. I enjoy it. Is a Wii and PlayStation 3 role-playing game in the Rune Factory series developed by Neverland. It is published by Marvelous Entertainment in Japan, blah, blah, blah. And so players control a male and female character in one. The male side named Aiden and the female side named Sonia, as they traverse the seas on a giant beast named Ymir. The beast can raise sunken islands and ships from the sea. Players are able to farm, fight using a real-time battle system, and form relationships. Wow. So I saw this, and 55% on Metacritic, by the way, just to be clear. Yeah. I saw this, and I knew it wasn't the best game in the world, but I really enjoyed the Harvest Moon games growing up. And so I actually requested this one. I was like, this looks a little bit like Harvest Moon. I think I could get into this. And I started it up, and I played maybe 40 minutes of it. Okay. And then I decided, actually, no, I don't like it at all. There's too much going on and not enough literally anything.
Just things happening.
Yeah, I could not get into it at all. I don't think I even got far enough to begin farming or forming relationships, whatever that means. But yeah, I was really hoping for Harvest Moon, and I did not get that. And then Stardew Valley came along, and nothing will ever be as good as Stardew Valley. So it's kind of really tough to get into the life sim farming genre at this point.
Yeah.
But Rune Factory Oceans is my I think my answer for that one. Okay. One that I self-inflicted. Right. I requested it and then hated it. So that's my fault.
Well, I the reason that the London Racer games came onto my radar is because I genuinely just bought a copy from we had a Cost Cutter in our village, which is like a franchise of corner shops. And for about a period of like a year or two, they had a little gaming section.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
It was mostly DVDs actually, but a couple of the shelves had some PS1 games on, and they were like $9.99 and usually quite rubbish. In fact, I bought a copy of what on PS1 in Europe was called Evo's Space Adventure, but elsewhere is known as Space Station Silicon Valley, and was available on N64 as well, and was much better. But I bought a copy of that on PS1, went home and played that, and that was so rubbish that I pretended it was broken and took it back to the shop.
Oh, God.
They didn't do refunds just if you didn't like the game, but I walked straight back and said, yeah, it's just, it doesn't run. It's just like broken. They gave me a refund.
Man.
That was a bit naughty.
Got your $9.99 back.
Yeah, but one that I did buy and for some reason keep and play was London Racer, the first one. And we know how bad that game is.
Worst Games Ever alumni.
Worst Games Ever, indeed. Yeah, the whole series have various installments from the series have been on Worst Games Ever, and we've still got more of them to play.
Yeah,
some of the PS2 ones, and I even one of the earlier videos I did on YouTube on my personal channel was a review for it to just show the world how bad it was. I mean, that game is rubbish. Just to remind you of some of the issues that happen, you can go out of bounds if you just rub against a wall enough and then drive off into where there's no floor. It's just a skybox. You hit invisible walls all the time that are just in the track. And at one point in the review that I did, I got wedged through a lamppost. The lamppost was coming directly out of the roof of my Mini. And if I held left or right, the car wouldn't move, but the camera would try and turn. And it sort of twisted the rendered graphic of the car into a strange shape as the camera moved around it. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was really strange.
Jesus.
Rubbish game. Just looks terrible as well, even if it ran okay. So yeah, but I, for some reason, just carried on playing it. I don't think I even got as far as unlocking anything. I just, maybe a track or two, but that was it. But I don't know why.
Not to mention the numerous mistranslations and
yeah.
The winner. You are the winner of all.
You are winner of all.
Brilliant.
What was something about the garage? No, the menu, the race menu-y.
Yeah, the menu-y with an E on the end.
M-E-N-U-E. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Terrible game. But I think it was that era where, well, this is it now. I own this game and I don't own many other games. Yeah. So I'm going to play this.
Got to play it.
So yeah, that was it.
I've got to get through this, you could say.
Indeed, as Daniel Bedingfield says.
As our friend Dan would say. What's he doing?
Don't know, getting through it, I guess.
Well, I hope so, because he was so popular and he had those two songs.
And he had a sister, Natasha.
Yeah, Natasha did great.
Songs.
And also then stopped.
Yeah.
What's going on with those two?
What are the Bedingfields doing?
The Bedingfields all right.
Counting their money?
Well, I suppose so. They both did very well for a very short period of time.
I hope they did some savings.
Yeah, these words are my own.
She did the book one as well.
Hearthstone.
Rest is still unwritten. Hearthstone.
Hearthstone, yeah, a little Hearthstone advert there. If Blizzard had any sense, they would bring her in.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. It's time for something rather large. I think we're setting a
speedrun record.
A speedrun record. And well, we've been here before, probably in the early days, but not for a long time. Over a year. I doubt we've been at the big discussion before the hour mark, let alone the 3/4 of an hour mark.
Sorry, you've all been shortchanged this week.
Sorry, guys. We hope you've enjoyed it anyway. But it's Christmas Eve. You're all busy anyway if you celebrate.
We're just answering efficiently. We're just not waffling.
We're just really good at answers. So it's
try and
time
do a big discussion.
For the big discussion. It's big discussion time for the big video game discussion that comes this week courtesy of Andrew Barnes, who says, "Hey guys, is there a game you like to play that gets you in the festive spirit? I've personally enjoyed Dead by Daylight and have spent 4 Xmas in a row either helping my fellow survivors escape or chucking them on a hook as the killer. Fun times." Brand new to this Patreon malarkey, but been a fan of you guys since way back on What Culture. For many years now, you've had me in absolute hysterics. After a long, stressful day of being a social worker, I find there's no better way to chill out than sticking on some Triple Jump and having a bloody good laugh. Merry Xmas to you all. Have a good one. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew.
It's a very tough job.
It is. Yeah,
appreciate it.
Doing good work.
Thanks a lot.
You.
Peter.
Yeah.
What helps you get in the festive spirit beyond, murdering people digitally?
Murdering people. Well, when we were at What Culture, we did a 12 Games of Christmas series. Me, you, and Jules. I think it was just the three of us.
I think Scott was on it.
Did Scott do it?
I
as
believe
well?
so. Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah,
so.
Maybe so. But he must have done because we only did 3 games each, and there's 12 days. So
there we are.
Maths.
Mystery solved.
And it mostly was just games that had sort of slightly wintry or Christmassy bits in them.
Yes.
Like not that many of them were full Christmas games. And my answer to this question, much like at least 2 of my answers today have been, is, well, not really, no. But so I don't play games at Christmas necessarily that get me in the festive spirit, I don't think. There are games that I would probably play around Christmas time because I've got free time to play games, and maybe there's something like, oh, I've not played that for a while, and maybe that happens every year. I don't know. But certainly, I can at least tell you what games I like the Christmassy bits of, even if I don't necessarily make the effort to then sit down around the Christmas period and play them.
Yeah.
So I really like the day in Bully. That's a really good one.
Classic.
It's called Christmas is Here. So that game has like a day-night cycle, and you have to be in bed by like midnight or something. I can't remember. Otherwise, you just pass out and you wake up at 9 a.m. in your bed or 8 a.m. But the Christmas day, because there's like loads of stuff to do, you have to go and like there's loads of collectibles, and you can go and smash like 15 snowmen, and there are special missions, and there's all sorts going on. It's the one day of the whole game's cycle that is like eternal. So I think when it gets to like 3 p.m. or something, the clock stops ticking. So you've then got this like day that you can just run around for forever, enjoying Christmas. You can put on your special clothes. There's like special missions with like a drunk Santa that you go and speak to. And yeah, that's a really good one. And then I also quite like the snow levels in Bugs Bunny Lost in Time on the PS1.
Yes.
There's a couple of those set in the medieval period. One of them is just like a downhill skiing one, just out of nowhere. They're like, this game has a skiing level now. And you're like, okay, that's fine. So they're pretty cozy. There's like, little like log cabins and pine trees and snow and, all sorts of nice things. So, those 2 make me feel very Christmassy for their Christmas themed content. But I don't think specifically there's anything that I would play at Christmas time to get me in the spirit, because I don't know. For one thing, I've got too much stuff that I watch every year rather than play.
What do you watch?
I watch the 1970, I think, version of A Christmas Carol. It's just called Scrooge.
Okay.
It stars Albert Finney, and that's a good one. I don't mind the Muppets Christmas Carol. I know some people love that, and I think it's fine, but it's not my favorite. I watch The Box of Delights, which I've watched 2 years ago on stream. And there's a few things I watch. I like to just like watch Christmas special episodes of like sitcoms and stuff. But nothing specific at Christmas other than maybe like playing party games with the family.
Yeah.
But again, it's not really to get me in the spirit as such. Do you have any traditional, any ritual games that you play every year?
No ritual games as such. So I've elected to just name some of the games that have dominated recent Christmases.
Right.
But in terms of games that I remember fondly from Christmases past, as you have mentioned, specifically from that name redundant series of videos we made, the RuneScape Christmas content.
Oh yeah,
I am very nostalgic for. Jolly old Father Christmas, Christmas man, hanging out in the middle of Varrock next to a big Christmas tree.
Yeah,
and he gives you some quests. You get, I think, transported somewhere to another place, and there's elves. You have to help them out, and at the end, you get there's like 3 hats and 3 scarves that you can unlock. And I think one of my original characters still has them. And you can still wear them. And people are like, how'd you get that? You can't drop them either because they're special items.
Yeah.
And everything was covered in snow. I remember that very fondly.
Yeah, I do.
And I'm trying to think of the other one that I chose as well. There's, of course, how the Saints saved Christmas. Oh, yeah, the Borderlands 2, how Marcus saved Mercenary Day. I think that's a fantastic piece of DLC that I really, really enjoy. And I believe that was actually a free update as well. Or it might be free with the Season Pass. Mm-hmm. But it's great. You get to a new location. There's like a raid boss there, lots of silly quests, and there's like Tiny Timothy or something. It's all sort of with the warped Borderlands humor. All of the residents have been frozen solid in snowmen and stuff like that. So that I really like that too. I thought that was excellent. But in terms of stuff that I associate with Christmas, I suppose Pokemon is synonymous with Christmas to an extent, not just because that's where I first got my copy of Pokemon Blue and my Game Boy, of course. But there have been a couple of years where I have just ended up playing Pokemon at Christmas, sat around while everybody's opening presents and things. I can sit there, with headphones off and Game Boy on or portable game device on playing a Pokemon game. So a few years ago, that was Pokemon Sun that I did that with. Sun. And last year, it was all about Halo. Because I took my Series S home with me and I decided to bone up on the Halo games because I'd never really played them before. So I played through 1, 2, 3, ODST and Reach in a very short time and then tried to watch some sort of recap video for Halo 4 and 5 and it didn't make any bloody sense because it got super high concepts and I lost interest. And then I played Halo Reach and enjoyed the hell out of it. I made it onto my Game of the Year list, even though the story was kind of crap and I finished it really fast because I just mainlined the
Halo
story.
Reach, did you just say?
No, Infinite.
Infinite. Yeah,
Infinite
right.
is what I meant. Infinite is what I meant. But I still really enjoyed Halo Infinite. I thought it was a great game. And I don't know if they've given up on split screen co-op now or what. I hear conflicting things come out about that game all the time, but it clearly was not ready. Released way too soon if they're still working on aspects of it now. If indeed that even is the case. I hear bits and pieces every so often like, oh, another person's left the studio. Yeah. And it's like, oh man, such a shame because I really liked Infinite. This year, though, I think it's going to be all about Father Crisis Core, right? Just because that is dominating my time at the moment, and I don't foresee myself playing it that much this week. But I know I have a free Boxing Day, and I'm taking my PlayStation with me, so I will probably play a lot of Crisis Core over this Christmas period. Yes, it's exhausting being us, huh? And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, apart from party games like not Hidden Agenda, Knowledge is Power is a favorite. Yeah. The old folks, they understand that one. They know how to play that one. Yeah. Hidden Agenda, though, we tried to play that through with them. I think last year they weren't into it. No. Because it was a bit grittier. Well, it wasn't even that it was too gritty. It was that the reaction times needed were a bit complicated and they didn't really feel like they were contributing to anything. So, but they like the bits where it says, Dad, you are the most trusting. You have been voted as the most. Only you can make this decision. They enjoyed those bits, the social aspects, but the bits where it's like, oh, make sure you search for clues in time. They couldn't really do that. It was too hard. But what about you? Have you got anything that you think is going to be on the agenda this festive break for you?
I don't know because I'm going to be away until the new year as of the end of this week. So I'll definitely be playing, as I say, I'll be playing party games. I have a lot of time to do that with the family-in-law, or just the family, I suppose. But it's difficult to know. I'm pretty sure that when I come back in January, I will have a little bit of time to play some stuff, but I'm not quite sure. As I say, I've started Resident Evil now, so probably be finishing that off. And that was a game that I got for Christmas, so in a sense, that's something that could get me into the festive spirit, much like Tekken Tag Tournament could do if I had a box of wine gums. But not sure exactly. But I'm looking forward to just having a bit of time to just sit down and choose. Like, okay, well, what do I want to play? I've got the opportunity now. I'm not at work all day. Let's pick something, but don't know what it's going to be just yet.
Wow, it's an exciting time. A time for many people to come together as family and or just isolate yourself and catch up on the video games. Or do a little bit of both. Whatever it is that you do end up doing, whether you celebrate or you don't, or you're working or whatever the situation is with you, we hope you have a good a good period between now and New Year's, and also stay safe on New Year's as well, of course.
Please do.
We will be back in podcast form before New Year's Eve in the form of a bonus podcast, which was sort of a Q&A podcast we recorded last week just to make sure there's something going out. So the patrons sent in a load of questions and we pulled them out of a hat and rattled off our answers. So a bit of a... What's the term I'm looking for? Bit of a
smorgasbord.
Smorgasbord, yeah. A bit of a the sort of changing up of the formula. A bit all over, not all over the place. That's not the right word that I'm looking for. A bit different, a little bit different.
Mixing it up.
Yeah, mixing it up a little bit. So come check that out. But we would like to hear what you think of all the things we've discussed this week. Let us know in the comments below, of course. And Peter's going to tell you some other places you can get in touch too. You
can find us on youtube.com and twitch.tv/Team TripleJump. It's where all of our videos and live streams happen. When we're streaming on both YouTube and Twitch, we're modded by Lord Brotovich, Trialing Badger, and Mr. Black. And if you've got Amazon Prime, part of the bundle that you're already paying for includes a Twitch sub that you can just spend on anyone you like. You can spend it on us. Doesn't cost you anything extra.
Why not do anything extra?
We've got a Facebook and a Twitter, twitter.com and facebook.com/Team TripleJump for legacy video content, live stream announcements, bits of weird news, all sorts of things, all put there by Fraser. Thank you, Fraser.
Thank you, Fraser.
TikTok.com/@Team TripleJump. Ashton is doing TikToks over there. They're great. Patreon.com/Team TripleJump for various tiers with various rewards attached. Maybe go and have a look at those if you've got a bit of Christmas money to spend or something.
Yeah, maybe.
It's up to you.
Maybe so.
We've got a website as well. It's triplej.mup. That's triplejU.mp. If you go to triplej.mup/Discord, you can access our Discord. It's modded by Jack, Joe, Tori, and Holloweyes. So if Ashton tells you that if they tell you to do something, you better flip and do it.
Bloody well do it.
But not if I tell you that.
No.
If you want to listen to the podcast in its audio forms, if you're watching on YouTube right now, you can go to triplej.mup/podcast to get there nice and easily. We've got a VODs channel, which can be easily accessed at triplej.mup/VODs, or just search YouTube for it, whatever you like.
Yep.
You can get a cameo from me or Ben or Ashton, if she's well enough, or James Jenkins. By going to triplej.mup/cameo. And lastly, from me, is triplejumpshop.com. You can go there to look at all of our merch, including our Christmassy merch. Needless to say, if you order one of these now, you won't get it in time.
It's not going to arrive in time.
But be in time for next Christmas. If you want to just add it to your cycle of, the next 15 years of Christmas decorations. We've got a hat as well, a woolly hat. That will be in time for the rest of winter if you order one of those. And we've got various bits of logo merch and old stuff as well from previous drops. So go and have a look at those. And follow at TripleJump Shop on Twitter for the latest and greatest news about our merch as it's coming.
The very best news.
Yeah.
Why not follow Peter and Ashton on Twitter, Instagram, and Hive at that Peter Austin and at Scrambled Ashton, and myself just on Twitter at confused_dude. We do lists every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's not changing over the Christmas break, by the way. Streams every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday being the joint stream.
Sorry,
on YouTube. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday being solo streams on Twitch. Obviously, that will be changing while we're not here, but there should have been a full slate of streams, hopefully this week, if Ashton's feeling a bit better.
And you're doing one stream over the holidays,
I certainly am. The 29th, I think at 3 p.m. There'll be a post that goes out about it the day before. I'm going to be running through all of New Game Plus in Demon's Souls. So
jump the gun there. It's at the end.
Come and check it out. Well, people might tune out any second now, so it's good to get ahead of it. The worst games ever is fortnightly. Friday for patrons of a certain tier, Sunday for everybody else. The podcast is every Saturday, and we do shows all the bloody time. Come check them out. Why not leave a 5-star review? That could be your Christmas present to us on your platform of choice. It helps something to do with Al Gore's rhythms. It's the worst games ever week this week.
It is. It's a Christmassy worst game ever. I, off the top of my head, can't remember what it is, but I walked past James's computer yesterday and
I know what it is.
What is it?
I can't remember what it's called, but it's the Wii one.
Remember the Wii one? It's not called. Well, it is called. I think it's called "We Wish You a Merry Christmas," but it's not spelled W-I-I, which is stupid.
Yeah,
it's just called "We Wish You a Merry Christmas."
Stupid people.
Yeah, it's a sort of weird mini game collection. It's not even a party game. It's single player, I think.
It's truly quite baffling.
Maybe it does have multiplayer options, but anyway, we played it single player and it's rubbish, but very baffling. Yeah.
Yes, it'll be out already for patrons and on actual Christmas Day for everybody else. So by the time you watch it, it won't be Christmas anymore and you won't want to watch it. So perfect timing from us. Go check it out.
It'll be the 12 days of Christmas.
Yeah, it'll be fun. You haven't taken down your decorations yet, have you? No. Nah. And then, yes, on the 29th, I will be doing a big old stream of Demon's Souls on New Game Plus with Barbara Pierce. So come check it out. There may be special guests. There might not be. I don't know. Okay. On Twitch. So come hang out on Twitch on the 29th. Just enough time to hear from our sponsor again today.
Yeah.
And that is, of course, the brand new Square Enix action RPG, Father Chris's Core. Father Chris's Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion. It's out right now on PS5 and PS4 and Switch, I think, as well, and also Xbox.
It could have been Final Fantasy Stage and Reunion stuffing. Stage, did I just say? Stage and Reunion stuffing or something. I don't know.
Reudolph.
Yes,
I was trying. I tried. I couldn't do it.
No,
doesn't matter.
It can't be done.
Have a fantastic and safe festive period, everybody. We will see you next Saturday. Look after yourselves.
Yeah.
Bye.
Enjoy. Merry Christmas.